So before I came to be a part of Utopia, I knew someone who worked here. We're going back over a decade. And I knew of Dr. Garcia's, center that they, accept patients from everything from preventative, wellness, cancer, late stage. And I would come in and I would do detox. I was in need of, detox, as anyone should be. And during flu season, I would come in for immune building IVs. And I started to get to know the process here, Dr. Garcia, his philosophy. And I went from, kind of rough to feeling like $1 million. And then one day I came to Dr. Garcia and I said, I went to school for sports medicine. I'm a personal trainer. I've done prosthetics and orthotics, but my current field, I believe, is a toxic environment in the sense that they used glues, epoxies, and resins, and I would get headaches. And so I decided I was going to shift gears. I was feeling good, and I said, Dr. Garcia, you've done so much for me. How can I be a part of this? And he said, Mark, I love you, but I have a position potentially at the front answering phones. And I said, I will take it. That was 9 years ago. And I was a natural because I'm an optimistic person. I've been through a lot. I'm grateful for where I am. And it came through on the phone, evidently. So I was answering phones. Before you knew it, I was doing one-on-ones after people would meet with Dr. Garcia. And then I became the admissions counselor, and here we are today, 9 years later, I'm the office manager. Mark, myself, office manager, also admissions counselor. And office managing, that's one thing, keeping a good team, because people are coming to us, they have a lot going on. And so it's crucial to have a good team that understands what our goal is, what our mission is, that why people are here, that they're here to get well. They have goals in mind. And for us to be, listening to what they have to say and formulate a game plan in coordination with Dr. Garcia and the medical staff so that they have a treatment program that is efficient and that is positive.
How has that helped you with the patients you folks meet here? Your personal challenge, how does that, because that translates somehow, some way.
It absolutely does. And yes, I've been in a tragic accident which left me, with a major deficiency, and to say the least. Yeah. And so when I'm on crutches, and first when I meet them in person, and they see that, it's disarming. Because they've seen a lot of doctors, they've seen a lot of white coats, and they've been through some appointments where fear tactics are used, unfortunately. And then when they come here and they meet Dr. Garcia, and we'll get to him later, but when they meet with me as the admissions counselor, as I said, is one of my hats that I wear of many, they see me on crutches, and it's disarming, which is beneficial, because now they feel, whether it's conscious or subconscious, that they can now open up, expose whatever their insecurities or vulnerabilities are, so that we can find common ground. And that is the goal of what we're doing, is that when someone comes here, the emotional connection is so important, the emotional background is so important, that their walls, their metaphorical walls, are up. And when they come here and they see me, then suddenly the floodgates open, whether it's through me or some of our other providers. And I'm sure it's a collective effort, but I'm one of the first faces they see of the logistical side of things, and they suddenly can take a deep breath. And they see how I've overcome challenges. Sometimes I tell them my story because it is a fascinating one. They're appreciative. That they, next thing you know, we're sharing stories, and there is some empathy that is going both ways. And all that builds on is trust, and that trust builds to compassion, which builds to, let's get busy of getting you well. Let's get to the root cause, because at the end of the day, that is our philosophy. What is the root cause, and why did your body go out of balance? And we find why it went out of balance. We can identify that, work on that, and then all these other therapies that we have, the detox and the immune building and the herbalist, they're all tools that create a healing environment in the body. So to sum us up, we're getting to the root cause. Why did the body go out of balance? Work on that, and then from the physical standpoint, give the patient the tools that their body needs to be in that healing environment, which we all know is a strong immune system, get it detoxified, oxygenate it, get it out of the acidic state. So all of these therapies that Utopia implements are therapies, they're goals that lend towards that ultimate goal. You just mentioned about intimacy as far as, you know, their healing process with people maybe they have just met. When I talked about getting to the root cause and it's emotional, sometimes that intimacy with us may at that moment go beyond what they've been able to share with loved ones, whether it's they feel apprehensive or they're feeling they're a burden, or maybe they haven't processed their own emotion. If they can feel an intimate connection with Dr. Garcia and the various therapists and myself, we might be finding out things about them that not only did their loved ones know, but maybe that they're just at the moment discovering within themselves. And, you know, you talk about breakthroughs, that word is thrown around a lot, but however you want to define it, a step forward towards the path of healing. And healing is defined in many ways. And that's something I've learned over the years. I always thought that healing meant a number on a piece of paper. But as I see people come in and they graduate and they hug me and we laugh and we cry, and because it's bittersweet that they're going home and they feel like they're going to miss us, healing's defined in many ways. And a lot of it is because of the rapport that we have built over these 8 weeks or however long it is. And so it's like a friend or a family member, or someone that connection has been shared with. And I think that it is important, and it may be one of the most important things, because I speak with these people on the phone because I'm the admissions counselor, so I'm, you know, the voice of the practical side of things. And I tell them before they come, you know, before you travel to Florida, because our patients, again, come from all over the world, and our conversations are typically by telephone. So when they're wondering if this is the place for them, I hate to use the word warning, but I give them a heads up. This is a program where we're asking a lot of people. We're not using the drugs. This is true healing. This is mind, body, spirit. So I want you to know, before you pack your bags and buy your airplane ticket or map out your car drive here from wherever state or country you're coming from, make sure that you're willing to embrace these therapies, that you're okay with what we're asking of you, because it is in your benefit. And I tell them some of these things may be uncomfortable. I mean, it could be something simple as, are you ready to give up coffee? Or your evening glass of white wine. Some of the men, the steak and potato guys, can you change that? Can you do a high alkaline diet? Can you make a green juice each day? And I ask them these questions, and I say, I'm not trying to single you out. I'm not trying to give you, push you away. I just want to make sure we're a good fit for each other, because we're in this together. Because when you've done well, that means we've done well. This is a shared success. This is, a team effort. We're all driving towards the same goal. When you're speaking with someone and they're in the, consideration mode of, is this, the path I'm going to take? There are obstacles in their way, and it goes beyond the obstacles of the obvious, whether it's financial, their job, their resources, their commute, all those real world issues. But sometimes it's a level deeper. It's their family members may have been told by their oncologists that chemo or is the only way, and there's pressure put on, there's stress put on. It's unfair, in my opinion, that stress tactics or fear tactics are used, but sometimes family or friends of someone who's considering coming here has really embodied that coming from that other side. And so when I'm talking to a gentleman or a lady who's considering coming here, and they say, I really want to come there, but I'm dealing with my family right now that's telling me, you really gotta listen to your oncologist and do this. And so I tell them that I hear that a lot, and that's not uncommon. And I always tell them, I use the word powwow, have a family powwow and talk it all out. But at the end of the day, it's your body, it's your healing journey, and you need to do what's right for you. By listening to someone else or going a route that you're maybe not 100% on, it's just not gonna work, because you are looking for healing. You're looking for recovery. You're in a serious situation. We're talking most likely a late stage cancer. And so I always tell people, whether it's the conventional, whether it's us, whether it's another wellness center, whatever it is, you pick a path that you feel is right for you and follow it. I mean, and whether you choose us or not, that's not my ultimate goal. I want people to get well, and I want them to get well the right way, whether you choose here or not. Sometimes I say, whether you come here or not, I'm rooting for you. But I will say that there's things behind the scenes with family and friends and the oncologist or whatever it is, and there's pressure built on. And I just have to assure them that I'm not going to be the one to put pressure on. I'm the one telling you to listen to yourself. If they come here, wonderful. I mean, I'm fully confident that we are the right place, but ultimately, only they're going to know that in their gut. And I do lead them to patient testimonials. As a matter of fact, we have some amazing success stories, graduates, and many of them are so appreciative of what we've done that they've offered their phone numbers for potential patients to come to speak with them and hear their experience, because that makes all the difference in the world. And then maybe that will help. So now they're connecting with people who have been here and hearing their experience. Because I can say Utopia is great all day long. I work here. But speaking with someone who's been through it makes all the difference in the world. And that's just the way it is. And to that end, if someone signs up here, and I let them know from the beginning, because, sometimes they're like, oh, it takes this many weeks. And I say, I want you to know that the way we operate is, this is a quote unquote pay as you go program. And when I explain why that is, I go, the reason, we do that is we want to make sure that you feel this is right for you. If for whatever reason you don't feel this is right for you, and Dr. Garcia makes a joke, if you show up and you just don't like Dr. Garcia's necktie, whatever the reason is, if you don't feel this is right for you, then you receive all of the funds back of the unused treatment, because we only want patients here that want to be here. And that goes right back to my previous point. This only works if you want to be here. You're asking me that Carlos Garcia, the man, not Dr. Carlos Garcia, and what I feel about him on a personal level, and sometimes, and what I want people to know. And I do let people know from time to time, because, he's not for everybody. Dr. Garcia as a whole, he has people come to him from all over the world, and it's a short amount of time to turn serious situations around. So his philosophy is there's no time to waste. So if someone needs to hear something that's standing in the way of their healing, he is not shy about telling them what that is. His philosophy, no time to waste. He goes right in. And, some people respond better to that than others. Some people are like, whoa, that was deep, and kind of maybe pull it back. And then he comes and he'll say, they needed to hear this. And so many people hear this and they say, Dr. Garcia said something to me, and I was like, I wasn't ready to hear that. And then they implement whatever the advice was, or something that maybe was shocking to them at first. They process it, they implement it, and here we are weeks down the road, they come back after that implementation of whatever that advice was that may have been harsh at the moment. They come to the realization that it was correct, it was accurate, and now here they are embodying the advice, and they're getting well. And they circle back and they go, Dr. Garcia, what are you doing at the beginning? And then they hug him and they thank him and they said, thank you for having the guts to say that to me, because no one yet has had the guts to say that to me. And there are a group of people out there that don't ever have that chance. And that is a very heartbreaking part of what we do. And that there are people who come here, whether it's a consult, whether it's the first week, and Dr. Garcia points out something crucial, maybe it's something close to home, and they maybe take off aren't happy. He's a so-and-so, how dare he? But they've missed the opportunity to let it play out, to come back and say, that you were right. And it's not about being right. It's about pointing out what's necessary. So when I talk to someone on the phone and they say, well, I've heard mixed things, I tell them what I'm telling you all. You're not understanding the countless people who have had that same back and forth where some people run, where there's countless others that have come back and they thank him and they for his courage to just go in and do it. And I tell them, I go, it's not just Dr. Garcia. When you sign up here at Utopia, because of the concept, there's no time to waste, because 6 or 7, 8 weeks flies by like that. We're all in the habit of going right in because our goal is very high. Our goal is to get people well and get them to stay well and give them the tools to stay well. And so we are unapologetic of going right in and letting them know this is what it's going to take to get down your journey, because the 8 weeks flies by. And the goal is that, like I said, we're hugging. It's a good story, and that they understand why we are the way we are. And to circle back to the original idea of Dr. Garcia the man, I love my job. And this might be the secret to happiness, is actually because if I'm going to wake up in the morning, I better be going to a job I love. And Dr. Garcia is, we've just discussed all the things about, kind of going in with the directness, the necessary directness. But I want people to know is how compassionate he is, how generous he is, which is why I love my job. But to get more specific, whenever it's someone's birthday, he buys the entire office lunch. We get a cake. He makes us all assemble. We sing happy birthday. We decorate their area. And if someone has something going on and they need to leave, and they go to Dr. Garcia and say, I just got a call from my mom, and Dr. Garcia says, don't explain. Get your things, go, drive carefully, don't speed. He thinks of everything down the line. And I'm getting emotional because he really cares, like, about us, about the patients. And that's why I love my job, and that's why I'm loyal to him. So when someone is getting their things together and they want to know where they're attending, because not everyone's local. Every once in a while we have a local consultation, which is face-to-face, which obviously that's amazing. But these consultations are by telephone. So they're getting a lot of information. They're scared, they're overwhelmed. They've just, maybe they've just been diagnosed. They're not feeling well. And they have this consultation with Dr. Garcia, and they hear the medical side, and then they talk to me and they hear the logistical side. And what they really want to know is what to expect when we get there. And I tell them, this isn't your typical doctor's office. You'll hear a lot of laughter. You'll hear us, teasing each other. There's jokes, we're laughing, but at the same time, we mean serious business. So it's that combination. I say there's a patient lounge here. It's got a full kitchen. You can bring food with you. Patients are in the infusion room. They're sharing recipes. Sometimes they're clicking up and they go, have you been to the raw vegan restaurant or the organic Lebanese restaurant? No. And then they're like, do you want to meet up after and go? There's camaraderie. And I let them know that it's a unique center. It's not the doctor's office that you would think. It's a bright building. We're all in this together. We consider ourselves like a concierge practice. In other words, if someone needs something done, they don't have to worry about doing the groundwork, the legwork. We're going to do that for them, because sometimes there's other things that we discover. It's not just someone coming here with one illness. They're a person. So we're doing evaluations and blood work and scans and all these different things to get to know who the person is, information gathering. And through that information gathering, we find out all these different things, and they may need to go see a biological dentist. They may need to see a specific type of orthogonal chiropractor that addresses the neck. If there's imaging that's necessary, an ultrasound, a CT, we will schedule it for them. We'll collect their insurance information. We'll say, we got it authorized for you. Here's where you're going to go. Here's the time you're going to go. We print them out a map. And then we print them out a new schedule of their therapies here if it happened to conflict with something, so that it's a well orchestrated, process. This is your schedule of therapies here at Utopia. If you have anything outside, we're going to have it so that your days are running efficiently and that you can focus on yourself and your healing. We're going to do the legwork and that you just have to focus on yourself. We lay out the road to follow. It's, and then it's up to them to follow it. We talk a lot about patients embracing, patients compliance. I know that's a funny word, but patients compliances, are they embracing the program? People want to know about statistics and success rate, but it's patient driven. We're not following people home at night. We don't know if they're doing their various things. The idea is that if a patient is going to embrace every aspect, and we're asking a lot. This is a detailed program. We are a natural program, but it is still an intensive medical protocol. And if they're willing to do what's necessary to follow all those things, that's going to give them the best chance of getting out of here healed, recovered, and we're all sharing that success. I think why people keep reaching out to us is because they're looking for a medical doctor that practices outside the box. In other words, we're not just treating symptoms. We're getting, this is true healing. That's actually one of the reasons he offers free consultations. He donates his time to anyone with a cancer diagnosis because he's been on the other side. He knows the stress and pressure that's put on people. So he wants people to hear that there's more to the story. So he donates his time and lets people know that this is different. And then they want to know where this program came from 25 years ago. And it was him throwing himself in the work of all these Nobel Prize laureates, Otto Warburg on oxygen, Linus Pauling on vitamin C, Hammer, Royal Rife, Max Gerson, Joanna Budwig from Malaga, Spain. I mean, all of these pioneers. So these therapies are put together for a very specific way, and they're based off research from going back years and years and years.